Today we are taking a look at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. This is one of the highest rated games of all time, and it is one of the greatest games of all time. It's obviously the sequel to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and this is the game in the series that really perfected the formula of Tony Hawk games. It added in the move, the revert, so you can continue your combos after you go up a ramp and do a vertical skate trick. You can go back down and revert into a manual. And this allows you to expand your combos even bigger than you could do them in 2. In Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, you could still do huge combos because they added the manual, but this game takes it a step further with the revert. This is the highest rated PS2 game on Metacritic, right up there with GTA 3 at 97%. This was a launch title for the GameCube. There was also a downgraded version of the game released for the PS1 and then later the N64. The N64 game just so happens to be the last game released for the N64. In 2002, there was also a Xbox version and a PC version of the game released. All of the pro skaters from the previous Tony Hawk game, Tony Hawk 2, make a return in this game with the exception of Bob Burnquist, who was in X Games Skateboarding that same year. And of course, in the next game, he makes a return to the series. This game adds Jackass star and professional skateboarder Bam Margera to the roster, who would become one of the most quintessential names in the Tony Hawk series. And I don't know about you guys, but back in the early 2000s, I idolized Bam Margera. I wanted to be like Bam Margera. Of course, now, maybe not so much, but when you're a stupid kid, Bam Margera was like the coolest dude of all time. This game also features some very cool special characters. We've got Darth Maul from the Star Wars series. This is the first, but not the last Tony Hawk game to feature a Star Wars character. And it also features Wolverine, continuing the theme of Marvel characters from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, which had Spider-Man. This game gives us Wolverine, which to me is even cooler, because I'm more of an X-Men and Wolverine fan than Spider-Man. Both are very cool. Wolverine, I think, is cooler. It's also got professional surfboarder Kelly Slater, who had his own video game, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfing. And some other special characters in the game are Ollie the Magic Bum from the last game, who you had to Ollie in the Venice level, and the classic characters Officer Dick, Private Korea, and more. This game features 9 levels like any of the other Tony Hawk games do, and it has 3 bonus levels: the cruise ship, the warehouse from the first game, and Burnside. The Xbox version features the oil rig. The PS1 and N64 versions of these games are downgrades of the 6th gen versions, so they're almost running like the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 engine with some added stuff in it. And the 5th gen PlayStation 1 and N64 versions of the games are very fun. They're almost different games in a way, but pretty similar to the 6th gen counterparts. But, you know, it's kind of a different game. And if you are going to play this game and you want the proper experience, I would go with the PlayStation 2 version, GameCube, or Xbox version, or PC. But the PlayStation and N64 versions of the game are still a fun time, but just keep in mind that that's a completely different game than the 6th gen version. This game added pedestrians to the game, so that makes the levels feel more lively because there's people in the levels. Back in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the levels were vacant. It was just you skateboarding, or if you were playing 2-player, you had 2 people. A couple of the levels had cars going around that could hit you if you go on the street, but they didn't have people in the street. And in the 6th gen version of this game, you have pedestrians in each level, which is a new feature for the game. Also new for the game is online multiplayer. Now, I've never played this game online, and I don't think any of the versions are still playable online. Maybe there's some weird way you can still play some of these online, but it's probably a hassle. Yeah, I think most people back then didn't really play this online. Nobody I knew was doing that, but this is the first one to feature online gameplay. This is also the first Tony Hawk game to let you create a female skateboarder for all the girls out there who want to skate as somebody who isn't Alyssa Steamer. And this game also features one of the best soundtracks in the Tony Hawk series. My personal favorite song in this game is If You Must by Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Check out Del the Funky Homo Sapien. If you don't listen to that guy, you should check out his music. He just dropped a track earlier this week, a few days ago. Protoculture 2, check that out. Little shout out to Del the Homo Sapien right there. This also features the Ramones, Motorhead, Rollins Band, House of Pain, Exhibit. Exhibit has one of the best songs in this game. Alien Ant Farm for that good early 2000s vibe. AFI, it's got Redman. Two of my other favorite songs in here are CKY, 96 Quite Better Beings, and Body Jar, Not the Same. This also has Red Hot Chili Peppers and KRS-One if you're into those guys. So yeah, this is just one of the quintessential must-play Tony Hawk games. I would say if you're only going to play one Tony Hawk game, this would probably be a good one. This or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I feel like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 really captures skateboarding culture of the 90s really well. But this game here is all about the gameplay. It's a lot more fluid and smooth because it was designed for the 6th generation consoles. And they really nailed the engine down. And this is really the last of the old school style Tony Hawk games of going and having a 2-minute run where you have to collect skate and find the secret tape and get the high score and the pro score. This was the last in that style of gameplay because the next Tony Hawk game, Pro Skater 4, changed the formula and made it a free roaming game where you go up to people to do the goals, the missions. So this is the last classic Tony Hawk game in a way. And I would say it is a must-play game. I think everybody should play this game. I grew up playing this game. It was one of my favorite games as a kid. It was the first Tony Hawk game that I really got into. And it was at a time where I was old enough to start playing video games. And I played it on the GameCube. This is the GameCube version you're looking at right now. I also played it on the PS2 version. That one's great. A lot of people will tell you that the PS2 controller is better for Tony Hawk games. I think the GameCube controller is fine, but if that's your preference, the PS2 version is very good. I've never played the Xbox version, but that one does, of course, have better graphics and frame rate because the Xbox is more powerful. And it also has the extra oil rig level, which I believe is in Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. I've also played the N64 and PS1 versions of the game, but like I said, those are kind of different games. But if you do find those games for a reasonable price, I'd recommend those versions as well. Just don't judge those as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Judge the 6th gen versions. That's the real version of the game. So yeah, this game gets my high recommendation. Definitely check it out, guys. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.